Now, regarding the Great Circle navigation issue, I saw an interesting video that Jaron did on the Jaronism YouTube channel regarding a flight that Max Egan took from Santiago to Sydney. Now, I'm going to play a few minutes worth of a clip. I've modified it a bit to add some animation with the little compass that I've created to further elaborate on the point that Jaron was making.
So, as we look at the Great Circle route that you would take going from Chile, Santiago, Chile, across the Pacific Ocean all the way to Sydney, Australia, you would take this route, which is exactly as he said. You would start out first going south or southwest, and then you would take a little portion of it going west, and then you would go northwest. So that would be the lineup.
I was looking at their compass, and their compass at one particular point was reading northwest, and my compass was reading west-southwest. And my compass stayed reading west-southwest for the entire journey, well, the entire journey that I was awake anyway.
So just to kind of show what he was saying, he said every time he checked his compass, he was getting a southwest reading, which a flat earth would show. And on the on-screen video display on the back seat of the seat in front of him was showing a northwest, as the globe would show. He had been asleep for 5 hours, he said, but when he woke up, the plane was showing the portion of the trip as northwest, but his compass was showing a different reading of southwest. He also claimed that his compass remained in the southwest position for the entire remainder of his flight, and then he went home and checked the compass against many others, a digital compass and another compass, and said his compass was working fine. So we'll listen to the rest of this and watch the video of him showing us exactly what anomaly he found.
But I was asleep for 5 hours during the journey, but every time I checked my compass, it was pointing south-southwest, and I find that a bit strange that I would be flying south-southwest all the way from Santiago to Sydney. It didn't really make a lot of sense to me. So that's a weird thing. Whether there's some weird electromagnetic interference in the plane that's causing my compass to do weird things, I don't know. But I took the compass. I took a little video of the compass on the screen, and I compared it with my compass sitting on the table, pointing directly straight ahead to the nose of the plane, and I was getting a different reading. So that's something that may interest you.
Well, that's amazing, Max. I mean, if you look at the Gleason's map, if you were traveling, you would be going west-southwest the entire way. So, I mean, those are the kind of things that are important because they are not possible on a globe. And so these are the kind of things, when you say it's not provable, you just kind of proved it. That something is wrong.
No, I didn't prove anything. What I offered you was an interesting piece of information.
Right.
It should be put
Okay.
Right.
Which
we will add to our preponderance of evidence, and that's beautiful, and we appreciate that.
I can actually play, and for people out there that are saying, "What are you saying this for, Max?" Can you turn my screen on? Would you like me to share that particular video with you?
I would love it.
Yeah, folks, I've been asleep for about 5 hours.
There you go.
We got it.
We're now well, as you can see.
So here we can clearly see that the plane is in the portion of the flight that it's turning northwest, as seen by the on-screen display.
Daylight all the way. As you can see, it's mostly cloud. Here's the problem. That's the reading that I'm getting.
So as we can see here, as he said in the radar or on the on-screen display, clearly the plane is traveling northwest according to the flight tracker.
I'm getting a different reading of my compass. Most business compass around. The reading stays the same. So they're giving me a reading of northwest. They're giving me a map direction of northwest. But on my compass, I'm getting a reading of southwest.
So, as you can see, the compass is clearly showing southwest or west-southwest, and the on-screen display is showing it is going northwest. Something is clearly weird about that particular flight, which seems to show northwest as the intended path of the flight, yet Max clearly showed, at least that portion of the flight was showing southwest on his compass, and he claims that it showed southwest the entire time he was awake. Let me show you a flat earth map so you can get an idea of why that's a big deal. Now, as you heard Bob say, this is not necessarily proof, it's just something that's very interesting and worth mentioning. Now, let me look at the flight as it would take place here on the Gleason's map. Now, again, none of us are claiming that this Gleason's map is exactly correct. We're not claiming that the sizes of the continents are correct or the distances between them. It's just something to give us an idea if we're looking at a flat earth kind of model. You can see the black line being the flight's path if it were on a flat earth, and if you look at the lines that have the green on them, those are lines where the plane would be flying northwest. The line with the purple would be flying about west, and then all the yellow lines would be flying southwest. So the interesting thing there is, when Max said that the second half of his trip, the entire time he was awake, his compass was showing southwest, that would make sense with all the yellow lines as you see. Remember, north is relative to where you're at, with south behind you, so that's what those little pink lines show us. And as you can see, all the yellow lines are actually a southwest flight direction, where on a globe he should have been going northwest, and that's the anomaly that he found.
Now, I understand that that's not the path that is typically plotted. The path that we always see these planes supposedly taking is going under the ball, and they go by the coastline. I don't know if they even get close enough that they can see it, but they at least get fairly close to the Antarctic coastline. The hard part is tracking these flights on any kind of third-party website or something where they track southern flights. From what I understand, it's pretty difficult to track anything. After about an hour from the coastline, they disappear. So I haven't personally spent the time trying to figure that out or looking into it. You know, maybe somebody else can. Jaren's making the assumption that it's a direct flight the way he has it depicted here on the azimuthal equidistant map. I don't know that you can make that assumption, but it is interesting. Whatever assumption you start with, you have to admit it is very interesting that the on-screen display says that they are on a northwest heading, which is what you would expect if you just flew up from under the ball, headed towards Sydney. Yet Max Egan has this compass sitting on his tray showing a heading of southwest. Things that make you go, I'm very intrigued by this. If there's anybody out there who can make this flight and document it, I'd like you to do two things. Confirm what Max Egan did by bringing a compass with you on the flight. Do the same thing he did. Bring a compass with you. Please use a better camera so you can actually hear what's going on and it's not so herky-jerky. You know, use your iPhone or something like that. So document it as best you can. And I would say also bring a spirit level with you. I'm not going to get into it in this video right here, but that would determine whether or not you are flying straight and level. Now, of course, I know that you will be flying straight and level because that's what pilots do. But that's not possible on a ball. You cannot use your attitude indicator set to level and fly 500 plus miles an hour over a ball without significantly increasing in altitude about every 12 minutes. This is because at 500 miles per hour, every 12 minutes or so, you'd be going about 100 miles. In fact, according to the Pythagorean formula for calculating curvature, in 1 hour's time, this is how much altitude you should accumulate if flying straight and level. Unless you be tempted to say attitude indicators don't work that way and that they do, in fact, adjust for the curvature using that magical Tony the Tiger force of gravity. See the description below for a couple of videos that debunk that idea. Anyway, here's my challenge to anyone willing to take me up on it. Bring a compass, a good camera, and a spirit level, and if somebody out there can make this flight and document it, do what Max Egan did, send me the video. I'd love to see it. That would be something really cool to check out.